What if I told you that the slowest player in the NFL was who defenders feared the most? Jason Witten was never supposed to be a superstar. He was too slow, too stiff, and too unathletic to dominate in the NFL. At least, that's what scouts said. But somehow, he turned that weakness into a Hall of Fame career. So how did a man who ran like anything but a football player dominate some of the fastest athletes alive? Well, to find out, we have to go back to his childhood, which was anything but easy. Growing up, Jason was the youngest of 3 boys. At just 6 years old, his father became an addict, which led to him abusing his wife and his 2 eldest sons. By the time Jason was 11, his mom had seen enough. She packed up her 6 boys and drove 6 hours to Tennessee to move in with her parents. That one decision didn't just change Jason's surroundings, it changed his future. It set him on the path to becoming the man and player he was destined to be. Dave Ryder, his grandfather, was the town's high school football coach and a local legend. He became the brothers' father figure, and when they got to high school, he also became their head coach. Jason was a 3-year starter on varsity, playing both tight end and linebacker. By his senior season, he was named an All-American and accepted a scholarship to play at the University of Tennessee. When Witten first arrived at Tennessee, he was just a linebacker. He had made it clear during the recruiting process that he only wanted to play defense in college. But just a few weeks into his freshman year, head coach Philip Fulmer asked him to switch to tight end. Witten hated the idea. He picked up the phone and called his grandfather, ready to vent. But instead of sympathy, he got tough love. "Stop pouting," his grandfather told him. And just like that, Jason swallowed his pride and switched to tight end. In 2002 as a junior, Jason Witten finally took over as Tennessee's starting tight end. And he broke out in a big way, breaking the school's records for receptions and receiving yards at the position. So after just 1 year as a starter, Witten declared for the 2003 NFL Draft, a decision plenty of NFL scouts thought was a mistake. At the Combine and his pro day, the reviews were brutal. One scout flat out said, quote, "Don't like him, stiff and not very fast, not a polished blocker, should have stayed in school." An anonymous offensive coordinator piled on saying, quote, "I'm disappointed. I didn't see the athleticism and toughness I heard so much about." When draft day arrived, those doubts pushed him down the board. 4 tight ends were taken before him, but with the 69th overall pick in the 3rd round, the Dallas Cowboys saw something others didn't and selected Jason Witten. When Jason landed in Dallas, he wasn't walking into an easy situation. The Cowboys were coming off 3 straight 5-11 seasons, Bill Parcells had just taken over as head coach, and the roster was in the middle of a rebuild. Witten's rookie year was trial by fire. In just his 4th game, he took a brutal shot from 2 Cardinals defenders, which broke his jaw. Surgeons had to insert metal plates just to stabilize it. For most players, that would mean weeks, maybe months on the sidelines. But Witten wasn't most players. He missed just 1 game. And that single game turned out to be the only one he'd miss in his entire 17-year career. His fast return instantly earned him the respect of Parcells and his new teammates. Witten's final stat line as a rookie wasn't anything crazy. 35 catches for 347 yards and a touchdown. But the toughness he showed as a 21-year-old set the tone for the rest of his career. By his 2nd year, Jason Witten wasn't just a promising young tight end. He was ready to break out. In 2004, Witten quickly became the Cowboys' most reliable target. He ran precise routes, found soft spots in coverage, and turned 3rd downs into automatic first. By season's end, he had piled up 87 catches for 980 yards and 6 touchdowns, earning him his first Pro Bowl nod at just 22 years old. But there was one game that announced his arrival to the rest of the league that fall. On Monday Night Football against the division rival Philadelphia Eagles, Witten went off for 9 receptions, 133 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Under the bright lights against one of the best secondaries in football, the slow tight end was uncoverable. So I know what you might be thinking. If Jason Witten was so slow, why couldn't defenses stop him? Well, here's the thing. He turned his greatest weakness into his greatest strength. Witten's signature play was the Y option, an option route. After the huddle broke, Witten would get to the line of scrimmage and read what coverage the defense was in. Then he would run 5 to 10 yards down the field, and depending on what his defender did, he would either break inside, outside, or sit down in the soft spot. It wasn't flashy, and it certainly wasn't fast, but it was unstoppable. Witten mastered it with elite route running, a sky-high football IQ, and the ability to use his 6'6" frame like a shield. Defenders knew it was coming. They would practice all week for it, and yet Witten almost always got free. Rare gold, we got a rare gold. 91 rating, oh my god. Guys, have you ever wanted to create and manage your very own franchise? Well, now you can, thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Football Head Coach. Football Head Coach is the ultimate football management game with real NFLPA licensed players. In-game, there is so much to do. Training players, trading players, and of course, going head-to-head with other teams. The new season just dropped and it's awesome. So here's my offense and I could choose which formations I would like them to run. Also, I can pick whether I want my offense to be run heavy, pass heavy, or balanced. I really want an air raid offense, so let's crank it up to be more pass heavy. My roster does have room for improvement though, so let's open a pack and see if we can get a star player. Rare gold, we got a rare gold. 91 rating, oh my gosh, this is huge, let's go. This is the highest rated player on my team now. Who's it gonna be? Antoine Winfield Jr. If you want to trade a player on your roster, you can by completing a player trade challenge. That's when you trade a player based on listed requirements. So for example, for this trade challenge, I need to trade 11 players with an average rating of 78. One must be bronze, one silver, 2 kickers, and 2 punters. When I trade these 11 players, I will receive one player with an 84 plus rating. All right, let's see who we get. Boom, we got an offensive guard, 84 overall, Mike Owenu. So guys, what are you waiting for? If you want the satisfaction of building your own ultimate franchise, go download Football Head Coach 26 in the app or Play Store. Coming off his breakout 2004 season, Jason Witten had proven he belonged. But between 2005 and 2007, he took the leap from being just a reliable target to one of the very best tight ends in football. In 2005, veteran quarterback Drew Bledsoe was running the Cowboys offense, and Witten quickly became his go-to guy. Anytime Bledsoe needed a conversion, his eyes went to number 82. Witten finished the year with 66 catches, 757 yards, and 6 touchdowns, earning another Pro Bowl nod and solidifying himself as a cornerstone of the franchise. Then came 2006, a transition year where the Cowboys were finding their identity. Midway through the season, a young, undrafted quarterback named Tony Romo took over, and instantly, he and Witten built the kind of chemistry that changes careers. Broken plays, third downs, red zone situations, Romo trusted Witten, and Witten always seemed to find a way to be open. That chemistry fully exploded in 2007. Witten turned in the best season of his career, 96 catches, 1,145 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He was named first-team All-Pro for the first time and made his 4th straight Pro Bowl. And along the way, he delivered some of the most iconic moments of his career. In Week 9 against the Eagles, he caught a pass over the middle, took a massive hit that sent his helmet flying, but kept running. Witten rumbled 53 yards helmetless, refusing to go down. It instantly became one of the most replayed highlights of the season and the signature image of his toughness. Just a month later in Detroit, Witten put together the game of his life. 15 catches for 138 yards, capped off by the game-winning touchdown with 18 seconds left. It tied the NFL record for most receptions in a game by a tight end at the time, and it showed that Witten wasn't just reliable. He could take over. The Cowboys finished that 2007 13-3, their best record in over a decade, and were expected to make a deep playoff run. In their first playoff game, they were favored by over a touchdown versus their division rival, the New York Giants. But things didn't go Dallas's way in that one. Tony Romo and the offense struggled, and the team shockingly lost 21-17. After missing the playoffs the following season, the Cowboys finally broke through again in 2009. In the wildcard round versus the Eagles, Dallas won their first playoff game since 1996. It felt like the tide had turned. But a week later in the divisional round, the Cowboys were blown out by the Vikings 34-3. Another promising season cut short. 2010 was a disaster for the Cowboys. In October, Tony Romo broke his collarbone, ending his season and sending Dallas into a tailspin. They limped to a 6-10 record, one of the most disappointing years in recent franchise history. But through all the chaos, Jason Witten kept producing. He hauled in 94 receptions for 1,002 yards and a career-high 9 touchdowns, earning his 7th straight Pro Bowl appearance. Even with backup quarterbacks under center and the season slipping away, Witten was the one steady presence. In 2011, the Cowboys got Romo back, but the heartbreak continued. Dallas finished 8-8, missing the playoffs after a crushing Week 17 loss to the Giants that decided the NFC East. But while the team kept stumbling, Witten's star kept rising. And by the time the 2012 season rolled around, he wasn't just a Cowboys legend anymore. That season, he cemented himself as one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. The year didn't start easy. In the preseason, Witten suffered a lacerated spleen, a very serious injury that could have ended his season before it even began. His spleen was literally bleeding, and doctors were debating whether or not he needed surgery. But somehow, against all odds, he didn't miss a single game. That season, Witten was unstoppable. He caught 110 passes, breaking the NFL's single-season record for receptions by a tight end, and piled up 1,039 receiving yards, becoming just the 3rd tight end in league history to break the 1,000-yard mark in 3 different seasons. In Week 8 against the Giants, Witten turned in one of the greatest single-game performances by a tight end ever. He hauled in 18 catches for 167 yards. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't deep shots, it was 3rd down conversions, option routes, and grit. Play after play, everyone knew the ball was going to number 82, and New York still couldn't stop it. Listen, I'm a Giants fan, and growing up, it felt like every time they played the Cowboys, Jason Witten would dominate. But not in like, oh, he's racking up a ton of yards type of way. It was like he would always make the key play at the worst time that would ruin any momentum the Giants had. He was just like a thorn in their side. It was so annoying to watch because it was like, oh my gosh, he's barely moving. How do you not stop him? But there he was, just making key play after key play, ruining any hopes I had of winning the game as a young Giants fan. 2013 was more of the same for the Cowboys and Witten. Jason continued to dominate, earning his 9th Pro Bowl nod, but his team kept falling into the same frustrating pattern. For the 3rd straight year, the Cowboys entered Week 17 with a chance to win the NFC East. And for the 3rd straight year, they lost. The pressure was mounting in Dallas. For years, Jason Witten had been producing at a Hall of Fame level, but the Cowboys kept collapsing, either missing the playoffs entirely or falling short in heartbreaking fashion. But in 2014, they finally broke through. Dallas finished the regular season 12-4 and were set to face off with the Lions in the wildcard round. With just over 5 minutes left, Dallas trailed by 3 and faced a do-or-die 4th and 6. Another playoff heartbreak felt inevitable. But then, Jason Witten happened. He ran his signature route, the Y option, and got the first down that set up the game-winning touchdown. However, the following week, the inevitable happened. Heartbreak struck Dallas once again. With just 4 minutes left in the divisional round, the Cowboys trailed by 5 and faced a desperate 4th down. Tony Romo dropped back and took a shot, a deep ball to Dez Bryant. Dez went up, hauled it in, and came down at the 1-yard line. For a moment, it looked like Dallas was about to take the lead, but then came the challenge flag. After the initial ruling of a catch, Green Bay challenged the play. The officials then reviewed it and delivered the verdict that still haunts Cowboys fans to this day. Dez hadn't maintained control of the ball all the way to the ground. The call was overturned. Instead of 1st and goal at the 1, the drive was over, and with it, the Cowboy season. 2014 felt like a breakthrough, but the next few years showed just how quickly things can change in the NFL. In 2015, Jason Witten opened the season in storybook fashion. Against the Giants in Week 1, he got 8 passes for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game winner with just 7 seconds left. See, I told you guys, as a Giants fan, he was always ruining my day. But yeah, at 33 years old, he was still proving he could deliver in clutch moments. But the season unraveled fast. Tony Romo broke his collarbone, and without their quarterback, the Cowboys collapsed. They stumbled to a 4-12 record, their worst in decades. But through it all, Witten stayed steady. 77 catches for 713 yards and 3 scores. But it was clear that Dallas's window with Romo was closing. Then came 2016, and with it, a new era. Rookie quarterback Dak Prescott and running back Ezekiel Elliott took the league by storm. The Cowboys went 13-3, their best record in nearly a decade. Witten, now the veteran leader, was still a vital piece in their offense. Dallas looked destined for a deep playoff run. But once again, heartbreak struck. In the divisional round against Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers ripped Cowboys fans' hearts out once again. By 2017, Witten was 35 years old, but the Iron Man streak continued. He played in all 16 games, catching 63 passes for 560 yards and 5 touchdowns. But Dallas missed the playoffs, and as the season wound down, it was clear this was about to be the end of an era. Witten had given the Cowboys everything: toughness, leadership, and reliability for 15 straight years. But the Super Bowl ring never came. So after that season, the inevitable happened. After 239 consecutive starts and over 1,100 catches, Jason Witten announced his retirement. He walked away as the Cowboys' all-time leader in receptions, receiving yards, and games played. The slowest player on the field had outlasted almost everyone and turned himself into a future Hall of Fame candidate. But as everyone would soon find out, Jason Witten's story wasn't finished yet. In 2019, after being retired for just 1 year, the now 37-year-old Witten announced he was coming back, and the Cowboys welcomed him with open arms. He wasn't the centerpiece of the offense anymore, but he still produced, hauling in 63 catches for 529 yards and 4 scores. But that offseason, Dallas did something that surprised the football world. They let their legendary tight end walk in free agency. Yes, Jason Witten was now 38 years old and clearly nearing the end of his career. But this was the man who had given Dallas over 15 years of his career. Most assumed he just finished where he started. Instead, Witten signed with the Las Vegas Raiders for the 2020 season. And while he provided veteran leadership in the locker room, his on-field impact was minimal. Just 13 catches for 69 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's when Jason knew it was finally time to hang up the cleats. For real this time. But before he officially walked away, he signed a 1-day contract with the Cowboys, ensuring he retired as a member of the only franchise where he truly belonged. If you guys want to know how the shortest player in the NFL went on to dominate and break tons of records, check out this video up here.